Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Icon Presents. Joining me today from Los Angeles, California is the amazing singer-songwriter. Ladies and gentlemen, Icon Presents, Katie Ferrara.
Spirit roams from place to place, Sedona, Taos, and Great Lake. I'm on the road less traveled, it's a bumpy ride. Red rocks, rivers, blue skies, an open road is my paradise. And the spaces between us was keeping the feeling. If you wanna be by my side, don't wait for me, 'cause we're blinded by the wheel of time. Am I a photo trapped in your mind? Don't wait for me. Like an eagle's wings in the sky, I gotta be free to fly. Love ain't simple and neither am I. Love's always changing, can we see through each other's eyes? Through each other's eyes. Hotel bars and street signs, London, Venice, and the city lights. And my voice is growing, singing to the night. In the morning, you are a sunrise. 6,000 miles and a plane ride. Can you lift me up as I take flight? I feel my own fire, fill my cup, so you can be a part of this love. Don't wait for me. Please help me on my way to be the best that I can be. Don't wait for me. Like two stars in the sky, we can be each other's light. 'Cause love ain't simple and neither am I. Love's always changing, can we see through each other's eyes? Through each other's eyes. You by my side, I finally made up my mind. Please wait for me. I can't turn back the time, now I choose you as mine. 'Cause love ain't simple and neither am I. Love's always changing, can we see through each other's eyes? Through each other's eyes. Is pouring out my window, and everybody's stuck inside their homes. Stepped outside and ripped off the mask that was covering up my scars. Barefaced in the pale sunlight, these naked eyes can finally see it all. And I feel alive. And it's been a long, long time since I was high. I've floated these emotions, I've flown to the other side where the sun it always shines. I feel alive. And it's been a long, long time. And it's been a long, long time. Don't know what time it is around me. The days are all bleeding into one. The walls of this tower of solitude are crumbling down, and the war is over now. I'll use this broken glass of your love to build myself some solid ground. 'Cause I feel alive. And it's been a long, long time since I was high. I've floated these emotions, I've flown to the other side where the sun it always shines. I feel alive. And it's been a long, long time. And it's been a long, long time. It's all the loneliness that's trapped inside my head down. I'm free to live my life now. And I feel alive. And it's been a long, long time since I was high. I've floated these emotions, I've flown to the other side where the sun it always shines. I feel alive. And it's been a long, long time. And it's been a long, long time. And it's been a long, long time.
Welcome, Katie Ferrara. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming all the way down from Los Angeles to join us. Like, I'm looking forward to kind of checking out you, all your work that you got going on, everything that we can look forward to. But first, let me say that was an amazing performance right
Thank
there.
you.
That was awesome. So what can you tell me about those two songs?
Well, one of the songs I released recently in March, and that was This High.
Okay.
That song I had actually written during the pandemic. I was at my piano
Mm-hmm.
and I had recently come out of a relationship and I wanted to write a self-empowerment song.
Okay.
I think many of us, we struggle with self-esteem. I know I've always had that issue.
Right.
And coming out of that relationship, I wanted to remind myself of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to remind myself that there's a place in my heart where I'm always loved. And I think that's such an important message to carry with us all, as we go about our days, especially with the current times.
Mm-hmm.
And music is healing. So
Right. I agree.
That's where I write from, really. I like to write about love and self-empowerment. The second song that I played, called Love Ain't Simple, that was also written during the pandemic.
Okay.
And I put that out I think it was last year or the year before with QSC. We did a live take for the Touch Mix sessions.
Nice.
So I had percussion and bass. So what you heard was like the purely acoustic.
Yeah, I could tell that
version.
one had like, there was a version of that song that was like, okay, that's an absolute banger, I gotta say. That was nice. I love your like I was telling you, your vocal tonality, you have a very rich voice, I'll put it that way.
Thank you.
And it's very nice. And when it comes to your songwriting,
Yeah.
you could tell that, see, sometimes you have people that write songs and they're very shallow, but you could tell that each song and every lyric and every verse meant something to you.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's it comes across very well in the performance. I got to commend you for that.
Thank you.
It's amazing. So tell me a little bit about your musical journey. Like, how did you get to the point? Like, I looked you up. Obviously, a quick Google search will show you all of your some things, like you've gone around the world, you've been on TV, you've done all these things. Give me a little bit about how you got started in the music industry.
Yeah. Well, I would say that I didn't get started till a lot later than most people.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a singer. When I was a kid, I was jumping around in my room and singing to CDs.
Right. Did you have any musical influences? Like, who's your favorite at that time?
I love the Beatles.
Okay.
I love Sarah Bareilles, Joni Mitchell, Christina Aguilera, pop songs.
Yes, I love it.
Some folk artists, Bob Dylan, people from my parents' generation, and then, artists from the 90s, because I was a 90s kid.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Same here, man. Bob Dylan, man. He has one song that when I was in college, I covered as a project. I forget, it was like, I think it was called Blowing in the Wind.
Yeah.
How many times? I don't even remember. Yeah. And I did like a cover of that song there. And it's always fun to kind of do your own versions and vibes for those type of projects. It's cool. So you started off when you were a kid. Like most kids always want to sing and perform. I have a 4-year-old daughter. She is like always on stage at all times.
Aww.
And it never fails. So what can you say, like, did you have musical influences in your family? Was anybody in there?
Yeah, so I was very much influenced by my mom. My mom, she had guitars around the house.
Nice.
And I wanted to be like her, and I grew up. I didn't really get into music until I was a teenager.
Okay.
I just saw what she was doing and picked up a guitar and tried playing myself. And then I joined my high school choir. And then I went to college, and I kind of just didn't do music. I studied psychology.
Gotcha.
Because I just found the subject very interesting.
Right.
And I was always told, well, you're not going to make any money from music.
Right. That's what everybody tells you all the time.
You're not going to make any money.
It's crazy how much people discourage you first from getting into the industry.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, you know what? I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah. and that's really what happened. There was a part of me that kept saying, yeah, but if you keep putting this off, if you don't do this, you're going to regret it when you get older.
Right.
So I had graduated, and I didn't know what to do with my life after college. And then I thought, okay, I'll go back to my roots. So I packed up a guitar, and I flew to London because my mom is from England. She's from London. I wanted to connect with my family there. And as I was there, I met a producer, and I started recording some of my original songs. And I lived there. I ended up staying for like a couple years. I fell in love.
Nice.
And then I couldn't support myself because I wasn't making enough money at the time.
Right.
And I flew back to California because I was like, okay, well, I want to do music, but I need a day job. And I ended up coming back and getting into teaching.
Okay.
And at the same time, I was still working on my music.
Okay.
So one day I woke up and I saw some people performing at the Santa Monica Promenade. And this is a place where you can go out and street perform. You can get a permit, and we call it busking.
Okay, yeah. First time I had ever seen that term was associated with you. I thought it was just it was a different way of saying busting. I was like, is somebody write it wrong? Like, I was like, oh, wait, is this like people that pull the dishes from the table? Like,
so you both professions make tips.
Yes.
I will tell you that. busker comes from the word buscare.
Okay.
Or to look for, to search for. It's from Latin, you know.
Like most English words.
The English
fancy.
words, yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, I had this idea to go busk on the Santa Monica Promenade, and I made a New Year's resolution about 10 years ago. This was in 2014. And it was to perform once a week on the promenade. My first time playing, I had made $100 playing for 2 hours. And at that time, that was a lot of money.
I feel it.
I was so shocked because, you know, I had tried performing in LA. I was playing at like House of Blues and, you know, some of the venues on the Sunset Strip, and they wanted me to sell tickets. I was struggling to get people to come out. And I always struggled with music because there was this aspect of like, you know, funding it, finding a way to go into the studio and pay a mixing engineer, and finding also the time just to write, and finding people around me who could, you know, I could build relationships with. So in my opinion, my start in music, I would say, would be 10 years ago when I started street performing, because everything had changed. I really started to commit to something. I had made that resolution and just kept at it. And, you know, here I am today performing. Yeah. And I never thought like I would be on this road. Right. Continuing to sing, you know?
So do you go back to like doing any more teaching or anything like that, or you're all in the music now?
I would say I'm all into the music. I'm a full-time artist, and I'd like to continue being a full-time artist.
That's awesome. Of course, that's what we want. Being able to express yourself and provide for yourself and all that kind of stuff. It's a tricky road, and it's like, it takes a lot of work to get there. It takes a lot of patience, especially to build anything out. But that goes with anything. It goes with no matter what type of business you're doing. There's an element to it. Like even if you were getting into real estate, I always tell people are like, man, I want to jump into real estate. I was like, okay, who are you going to sell to? And it's like, how are you going to do it? You're like, you got to get licensed and all that kind of stuff. But then even if you got your license and everything, like when I talk to people that have been in the industry for a long time, a lot of their connections or their sales come from referrals. If you're brand new into the industry, you don't have any referrals. If you're brand new into the music industry, you don't have a back catalog or haven't shown yourself. And so a lot of times people won't take the risk on you to kind of put you out there in front of other people. So it can be kind of a struggle for you. It kind of can be discouraging, but that's why you write songs that are very empowering and inspirational and kind of really resonate and tell stories of things that people deal with in life. Like there's a like I was looking at some of your music, and I could tell that you write things for like healing purposes and different things like that. It is like, okay, I could tell you were going through something when you wrote that one, but it's deeper than like Taylor Swift writing something when she's going through something the way you do. I can say, I mean, there's no reason for me to give shots to Taylor Swift. She didn't deserve that one.
I love Taylor Swift, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's like all these people. I saw a hilarious reel, and it was like, do you have a personality, or are you just a bunch of Taylor Swift lyrics mashed together? And the girl said, I feel personally attacked. She's like, this is assault. This is not okay. I was like, that is hilarious. I don't know why I always love digging on Taylor Swift. I've listened to so much of her music before, and I studied so much of her music. Because like as an audio engineer myself, it's one of those things that you got to expose yourself to all different types of music. So it's good to do. I want to talk about your travels, right? So you decided to get into the music and do everything. You're doing a lot of street performing and all that. How do you end up on TV and doing like going out and doing festivals in other countries and everything like that? How do you manage to have that happen?
That all snowballed from my street performing. That's why I go back to it. So the festivals, the street festivals that I have performed at have been in New Zealand, South Korea, in the UK, Italy, Switzerland, Germany. And these are all festivals that happen every summer. And the first festival I ever played was in New Zealand in Auckland, I was part of a competition. It was of international artists, and I was selected out of like 6 artists to be part of a band. And they were all sorts of performers. That we had a guitar, we had bass, we had a drummer, we had harmonica, and it was sponsored by Toyota. And they flew us out there to perform at this festival. Oh, it was in Queensland. Actually, we flew to Auckland first, and then we went to Queensland.
Okay.
And after I had performed at that festival, these other festivals around the world started reaching out to me, and they started saying, "Oh, we would like you to come perform at our festival." So the next place I went to was Edinburgh in Scotland, and if you don't know anything about the Fringe Festival, it's not only music, but there's theater. So there's actors, comedians, and basically any type of performer can showcase their art there.
Okay.
And talent buyers from different companies, they'll come and they'll pick you up. Like one of my friends, he's a flute player. He was playing at the festival and he got picked up by Virgin Voyages. So he performs on the cruise ship now.
Nice.
And that was just from playing at the Fringe Festival.
Nice.
Or if you play at the Fringe Festival, maybe another festival in Europe would ask you to come play. And that's what happened. I played it in Edinburgh, and then another festival, it was Braunschweig in Germany, and in Chur in Switzerland, they asked me to perform. So in 2018, that's when I flew to those 2 countries, and I ended up making my first music video there.
Okay.
For a song of mine. It's called Weightless.
Okay. What's that about?
So that's just about the feeling of not letting anything stop you from just living your best life, and knowing that there's people out there that you can meet and connect with. And I think, connection, I guess my greatest struggle in life has always been finding people to connect with.
Okay.
And maybe it's my personality. I don't know. I think
I got you. I've only known you for a short period of time. I don't see anything that's completely off-putting. I can't say I'm not sitting here thinking, man, I can't wait until she leaves.
Yeah. I'm glad because I like being on this podcast.
That's great. We like having you.
I feel welcome here.
That's good. That's what we want.
Maybe it's something about LA,
Maybe. I mean, there's a reason why I try to stay out of LA as much as I can, to be honest. People always ask, hey, Antwon, why don't you guys take the show up to LA? It's like, yo, bro, you don't know how much I do not like LA.
It's a strange place to be as an artist because I think there's a lot of noise happening. And everybody's trying to be seen.
Yeah.
And I think there are places to find your tribe in LA. A lot of people come to LA from other places.
Right.
I grew up in LA.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So I feel like I have a completely different view on the city. And maybe I think I like to travel and get out of LA because it makes me appreciate my own city a lot more. And I can appreciate what I have.
I guess you like the city life or you like the small town life a little bit? More like suburban life?
That's tough because I think now that I'm in my 30s, I think I like small town life.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm married with 2 kids. I have no desire to be really in the city and all that stuff. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I'm good. Yeah. I'm good off of that. For me, I'm at a point, I'm like, and I think for the most part, majority of my life, I kind of been that way. Yeah. I just want to live my life surrounded by family and people that I care about. Yeah. And because to be honest, I'm not really interested in being connected. It's like, oh man, this is going down there. I'll go down for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming right back up and I'm going to live and be more mellow.
Yeah.
Like that's why COVID lockdowns weren't as detrimental to me as they were for a lot of people, because I don't really like going out to see people in the first place. So it's like, all right, oh no, I gotta stay home and play games and do all that and sit here with my wife and my family.
Yeah, things didn't change too much for you.
Exactly. It was like, but I understand if you're somebody, especially if you're getting into, well, you got into the busking after COVID or prior to COVID?
This is prior to COVID.
Prior to COVID. So then that had to be pretty rough for you at that time.
Oh, yeah.
They shut it all down.
I not only I also play gigs. I'm a working musician. Right. And so all of my gigs during COVID, they disappeared.
Yeah.
Just within a week.
Yeah.
Everything I had booked, like canceled. Mm-hmm. My income was gone.
Yeah.
And so I completely changed. I went back to teaching. I became a pod leader for a class of kids. Their parents were what's the word? They were essential workers.
Yeah.
So I went in for that whole year and I did like daycare.
I got you. And does this upset you anytime? Like when you see like the it might be a bit controversial, but hey, it'd be good for the views and all that kind of stuff. But the with everything that has come out after, like with COVID and everything like that, when it comes to lockdowns and all that kind of stuff, and they say, oh wait, this wasn't actually necessary, or this may have not been the case, or whatever like that. Obviously, you get more information as time goes on. But I know for me, and I know for some people that I've talked to and connected with, who's like some people who own like beauty salons where they lost everything because of the lockdowns. I had one of my guys, he opened up a beauty salon for his wife, and then COVID, they had to shut down. He had took out a business loan, couldn't pay anything towards the loan because he didn't have any of that money coming in. And so they held it against him doing that whole thing. And then now he's looking at them talking about, oh yeah, we actually didn't need to do this or whatever like that. I'm like, he's like, do you know how upset that makes me when I'm going back? Obviously, you have to, like, nobody has all the information at that time.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. If I was you, I'd be upset.
I would be upset.
It's like, man, that stuff irritates me. But, you move on. So you rebuild.
Yeah, you got to rebuild.
Press on. So you got that. Now, tell me how you managed to land that spot on The Good Witch.
Oh, that was... well, the song that I wrote, it's a co-write with my friend Ted Wolfers and Patricia Bahia.
Mm-hmm.
We wrote that, it was in 2017, and we wrote that intended for sync.
Okay.
And also for me as an artist, I love co-writing because it's nice to have an objective opinion. It's nice to have other people in the room who can help, give you a sound and give their perspective. Yeah. And so we wrote that with an intent in mind.
Gotcha.
And then I just was at the right place at the right time. I met somebody from a sync agency and they were looking for that type of song. Okay. And I submitted it.
Yeah.
And it just happened very quickly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And sometimes that happens as artists where like, you have a song in your catalog that you've written like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then someone later down the line is like, oh, I love this song.
Yeah. It's funny to me when I see artists, like I watched that show Arcane, is the League of Legends show, right? Yeah. It's on Netflix, and the intro or the introduction song is by Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
And it's called like Believer or something like that.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to that song all the time when I was younger. And when that song first came out.
Yeah.
But then like when that show came out, I heard that, I was like, yo, did they pull that old song and they remixed it and did it again? Yeah. That's awesome. So what was the name of the song that you did on the
No
show?
Bad Days.
No Bad Days. Yeah. Okay, got you. So man, that had to be nice to, you write the song, it gets picked up, and now you're seeing it on TV.
Yeah.
What was that moment? Did you have your family around listening to it? You're like, Mom, you watch TV right now.
Well, it was being played on it was like season 5 of the TV show. So I wasn't actually singing it on TV. The song was placed in the show.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it was in the final season. So I went in and I started watching the TV show just to find the song. And and I called my mom and I was like, my song's on TV.
Hey man, that's an empowering moment. I had Kevin Ray on this show, and he had his song. I believe it was on "Stump the Yard," you know, that dancing movie, and it was on BET where he was like, they were playing the trailer for it, and he was like, he was getting calls from his guys, hey man, you got to turn on the TV. And I was like, I remember when my parents, because my dad has a band too, and when he got his first, or when I first heard them on the radio, I remember it was a Sunday morning. He has a gospel band. And we're getting ready for church in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're eating breakfast. We got the music on in the house and everything. And then all of a sudden you hear Bishop John W. Haynes and Change. And you're like, oh shit, let's go. It's so exciting. It's an exciting way to kind of meet and get to those next levels. Yeah. Now, speaking of next levels, what do you have planned for your future?
Oh wow, that's a tough question. Yeah.
Well, you got a lot of projects in the works, right?
Yes.
Got you. So tell me a little bit about that. What do you have in the works?
Well, I've got songs to release that I recorded during the pandemic. So I'm finishing up releasing all of those songs, but I'm also recording an album at the moment.
Okay.
And I'd like to put that out within the next year or so. I just signed an indie label deal.
Yeah, nice.
To Chance Recordings.
Okay, yeah, with Danielle Taylor.
Yeah, Danielle Taylor.
Awesome.
Shout out to Chance Recordings.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about working with her and continuing to put out music and you know, writing with new artists to Los Angeles. I think after the pandemic, we had a whole wave of new artists who moved to the city.
Yeah, people like incubated and kind of they gave the opportunity to kind of build up those skills. Yeah.
I mean, the whole music scene has changed. A lot of my friends, they moved away and they started families. A lot of my friends, they just completely changed careers. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just excited about, you know, the new people to connect with and also starting other projects. Like I want to finish writing my next book. I have a book out.
Okay.
I promised my fans I would write a second book. So
what was the first book that you wrote?
It was called Stories from the Street.
Okay.
And it's my experience just playing in all these different countries.
Nice.
And also being a female artist and my experience playing in the industry.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. You ever thought about writing a fiction book?
I like fiction. But maybe I'll do that. I
feel like the reason why I asked that is because I like it. A lot of times when we get people here in the studio, a lot of them, so many of them have books that they're into, and a lot of them they're biographical and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. I'm interested to know, okay, if you weren't able to write a story of your own, could you write a story and give me character development and make me fall in love with a character based off of somebody else? And that one is always I think it takes a different type of talent and different type of skill that it takes to write a book like that.
Yes.
It's not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
But some of them, like I always go back, Gabe Taib, 25-year, or now it's more than 25-year, but comic industry vet, right? We had him on the show. I think he was like one of our first few guests on the show. Canceled from or left DC and Marvel controversially and all that kind of stuff, but standing on his principles, I respect it. The guy is an amazing storyteller. Like when I look at a lot of like independent comic books and all that kind of stuff, this dude's artwork and writing is on another level, and I respect it so much. That's the kind of stuff I like as well. And I also like biographical stuff. I don't know why I keep messing up on that word. It's life. So you mentioned to me earlier that you had a song coming out July 4th.
Yes.
That you considered playing today. But we but ultimately decided, you know what, we're going to save that one.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that song.
Okay, yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about it. I do have a video coming out for it, which was another reason why I thought, okay, I already have a video.
Okay,
of that
gotcha.
This song, I like to call it a patriotic protest song. And I think the title could throw people off because they might think like, wait, is she going in this direction or is she going in that direction?
Yeah.
I was inspired by the fact that you could love and hate this country at the same time.
Okay.
you can want change. You can want radical change and justice in this country, and still be proud to be American.
Yeah.
And we don't have to hate on this country. I think more than ever, we need to unite.
Yeah.
And so the song is called Please Come Back.
Okay.
So I can see how people might think it will go in another direction.
I got you.
It doesn't. It's not only about that, but it's also about sharing the stories of people in this country. You know, history is told by the winners.
Yeah.
It's told by the ones that win the wars. But
right.
there's another side to the story.
Yes.
And I am singing about saving people's truths and being able to speak your truth, you know, especially in a time where, like, on social media, it's very difficult to say something and let people speak and be respectful.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, there was so much, especially like on Facebook and Twitter, there's just so much anger, and I wanted to write a song that said, hey, it's okay if we disagree.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can still be American citizens.
Yeah, I get it.
Love this country.
I get it.
Yeah.
I commend that.
Yeah.
That's good. I told you earlier how, for me, what it takes for when you're creativity is a lot of times influenced by the situations that we find ourselves in, right? It's like the Captain Americas, the Supermans, and all these various characters that exist in the world, they take influence based off of the things that we were doing. When Captain America was punching Nazis, like, there was a reason why there was like, that was the culture of the way that things were. But I think that these days, a lot of people struggle with being creative and getting a message across at the same time.
Yeah.
I told you earlier, which I'll elaborate anytime you want. We won't do it in this podcast or whatever like that. But that's why it's funny to me to watch Disney kind of flounder the way that they're doing right now. They're the biggest company that's failing the worst in all of media, basically, in all of that entertainment media. But the reason why is because the people that write the stuff these days don't have the same talents that it took to be able to tell stories in a artistic way, but also get a message across.
The storytelling, I think, is missing from a lot of film and TV.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to keep this in there, but you know, I think we focus a lot on identity politics.
I agree with that 100%.
We focus on, and I think it's important to have equality, but I also feel that, okay, but where's the character development?
Exactly.
Where's the character development?
The exact same way. I'm glad I'm not the only one to say that, especially with me, because I always say I'm very opinionated and all that kind of stuff. You, like, that is like, for me, as a Black man, I never want to watch a show, and the way they every show or every movie or anything like that, if they got to make it gang affiliated, got to make it have some type of struggle. Like, I came with the ghetto, I don't associate, or that doesn't associate with me or register with me, because I grew up with a 2-parent household my entire life. I lived in the suburbs. I didn't move into an apartment until I moved out of my parents' house. Yeah. That was the first time I ever lived in an apartment. Yeah. So when they, in the struggle that they had, where it was like, they're like, that they display every time they want to do Black characters, like Disney has a movie or a show going out right now, like The Acolyte. Yeah. They had, like, that show is, first of all, the ratings, critics ratings on that is super high. And every Forbes and all these people keep like, what in the world were these critics on? Like, rating it this high? And then you watch it on the audience score, and it's down to like 17% right now. Yeah. Because your audience can say, hey, you're lacking in these elements. Yeah. You may have checked every box that you want, but you're lacking in these elements. Yeah, we're spending so much time checking boxes. Yes. But that's not what the audience wants. Exactly. Yeah. I gotta say, I'm shocked to hear that from you, but I agree with that 100% the same way. So when you're writing songs like that, pulling from your true inspirations and the way that you feel. I love being able to take that. That's part of the reason why I wanted to build this platform too, is because I wanted to be, I've watched like the SAG strike and all that go on, and you watched a lot of people lose a lot in that time as well. And it was very like when I had Daryl Silver Hughes on, and he was talking about the issues between the execs and all that, and then you have the actors, and it's like, hey, don't utilize AI in my place and all that stuff. It's like there's a real struggle when it comes to creativity as technology and as the world advances.
Yeah.
We have to find a middle ground. I think AI does a good job in certain elements. I use AI tools. But you won't see AI Antwon sitting here on the podcast.
Well, that's another great topic. AI, I think it's a great tool for us to help us, but it cannot replace the soul.
Exactly.
It cannot do that.
Exactly.
It just replicates.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's unfortunately a lot of times what you see in artistic endeavors, whether or not it's with it's with AI or not. It's songs and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, you're just another copy of this other person. You lose the soul of that.
Yeah.
So you don't need AI to do that. That artificial intelligence is a mental thing because everything about you is artificial in the same way. You want to blame it on AI, but that's not the case. You just lack the real compassion and conviction that it takes to tell certain stories and everything.
Yeah.
But I got to say, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I can get lost in this.
I like this conversation.
Yes,
this is
same here. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell the audience how they can support you.
Yes. So you can, first of all, follow me online. I'm at Katie Ferrara Official on Instagram and on my TikTok. I'm also on YouTube. I have a website, katieferrara.com.
Great looking website too. And it's updated, which is shocking to me because so many times when people say, oh yeah, check out my website, I look back and it says, oh yeah, this hasn't been updated since 2018. Like, yeah, you can't even blame that on COVID.
I'm glad you noticed that.
I'm a web developer, web designer. I notice all these little neat details.
Shout out to Bandzoogle.
Bandzoogle? What's that?
That's my website host.
Okay, gotcha. Nice. So they help you out with that.
They help me out.
Okay.
It's a great platform. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I just like using Bandzoogle.
That's awesome.
What else? You can find me on my website and support me by sending me an email, send me a comment saying, hey, I love your music. Let's connect.
Yes, I love it. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It was an amazing conversation. I truly, truly, truly enjoyed it. You did an amazing performance. I am looking forward to everything that you got going forward. And I hope this is not the last time we talk. I know, I'm saying it now. This will not be the last time we talk. This is going to be amazing. You guys check out Katie Ferrara. Take out her email. What's the email? Give it to people there.
You can email me at katie@katieferrara.com.
Okay. And what's the website?
katieferrara.com.
Awesome. Alrighty. Thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Icon Presents. Be sure to check out the Icon Presents website, iconpresentspodcast.com. It'll be launching this Friday, which will be already have gone on since this interview. So I'm truly, truly excited to see everything that we have going forward. And y'all take care.